Oh, my God. I would say good morning to all across the Delaware Valley on the day of the NBA draft, but it's not. It's not a good morning. In fact, it's a kick in the groin of a morning. But it is the Anthony Gargano Show presented by Rite Aid, and I love my Rite Aid. I need to go to Rite Aid because I have the Sixers and the NBA landscape have given me a dramatic headache. All right, a pounding headache, like I got hit in the head with a frying pan. All right, and I need to go to Rite Aid to get some Tylenol. Go to RiteAid.com if you are feeling the way I'm feeling today. So let's go. Last night, the news hits around the world. The Knicks. The Knicks. Well, they pull off the deal for Mikal Bridges, who is our family here at All PHLY. As you heard on Friday, I guess it was Friday of last week, Devon Givens, our good friend and one of the great hosts of the All PHLY Sixers show, and his cousin, Jack, who is Mikal's father, were on the program, and they were detailing what it was like the draft day that Mikal was traded. We're still not over that. It was the anniversary on Friday of the Mikal trade. And here we are, just a few days later, on the eve of the NBA draft. Mikal Bridges goes to, of all places, the Knicks. It's a great move by New York, and it just makes me go a vomit emoji all day long. I mean, it's a perfect fit for them, and it's a great story. If I was looking at this thing like a journalist, like I used to be as a sports writer, I'd be like, wow, what a great story. Like, it's the Villanova Wildcats, the championship team type, all those kids that achieved at Villanova under Jay Wright together, right? I mean, it's Brunson who became a true superstar, and it's Hart who showed all the heart, and it's DiVincenzo who turned into a terrific player, and then it's Mikal Bridges, the one that got away, the missing piece. I joke all the time that if the Sixers were a bucket of chicken, they would be all thighs and breasts, right? No wings. And here it is. They have a wing at their disposal, and they trade him for Zaire Smith, the name that will just ring Zaire in Brett Brown's New England patois. It is Zaire. I don't want to hear about the Heat unprotected pick. It's just sickening. And here, all these years later, it's Bridges to New York to turn them into a title contender and to clearly surpass the Sixers. And they may not be done. The rumors are out there that the Knicks will sign and trade OG to the Clippers. So Anunoby goes to the Clippers for Paul George. Now they have to get rid of Julius Randle, but that's very real. That they're looking to now go get Paul George. And you're the Sixers, and you're stuck with what? Brandon Ingram is the best option? Oh, Lord. We've talked about the process yesterday. We did a whole thing about the process and where it went wrong and all the mistakes, one after another. And here we are, we sit, and this is going to be the last gasp. The whole thing, the whole idea of, hey, and I was all for it. So, I'm guilty too. So I raised my hand. But I thought, well, listen, this is going to be a banner free agent class. So you ride it out with Harris, and then all of a sudden you get to fill in a roster. Unfortunately, the climate did not cooperate. So what's left is musical chairs, and you ain't got a seat. Like, you ain't got a seat. And I don't care what Danny Ainge wants for Lauri Markkanen, I'll give it to him. It's either that or detonate, and I just don't want to detonate. I unfortunately look at the landscape of the East. You already got Boston, and now the Knicks have surpassed you. Knicks are a better team. They beat you last year, and now they're a better team. And I'm truly worried. I'm completely petrified at what we saw. And this is going to be a big day for them. There has to be some moves. They're going to trade their pick. They have to do it. What's best for this team? What's out there? I'm praying that Daryl Morey has some star that's disgruntled that we don't know about that he can land. Some impactful player that he can land that we haven't thought about. I mean, I know we went over every player just about in the league, but maybe there's somebody that's unhappy that nobody knows about that they can pull off a move. Because right now, this looks dire, extremely dire. Well, Kyle Neubeck from the old PHLY Sixers show will join us. So will Leg Day today. And listen, I've been imploring the Sixers to at least talk to Legs about players, right? Like, use his brain. The guy is one of the great analysts that we have. And, you know, those guys are valuable. Like, he's seen the whole league inside and out. He knows how to evaluate players. I said, listen, consult with him. You know, you can always use another set of eyes. So we'll talk to Legs. Leg Day today. Phil's yesterday got Scoobbled. Tariq Skubal, who is Steve Carlton. We talked about Steve Carlton on the show last week. And Tariq Skubal from the Tigers is Steve Carlton, a power lefty who will dial it up to 100. And look, you know, I mean, he shut you down. They're a bad team, the Tigers. Ranger went toe-to-toe for 5 innings. Tigers, you know, finally break through. You're not going to beat Skubal. You know, at some point he'll probably become a Yankee because he'll go to free agency and the Yankees will trade for him. And that's what that is. You got the series finale today, day game, and it'll be always fun. So we'll always check in on the Phillies. Lots to get to. That's popping off. Brought to you by Olipop. I need to have my Olipop with some gin today after the news last night. Olipop. Find your favorite flavors at Wawa, Whole Foods. You got it. Well, I'd say good morning to my boys, JP, John Zapata, VG, Violations, Greg Caputo, but it's a miserable morning. And of all people, it's Bridges, the guy that we had that we gave away who was such the perfect fit, the hometown kid.
Not a bueno dia. Not a bueno dia today.
No Buenos Diaz. No. It's more like Bo Diaz.
Because this pain never ends with the Sixers. Mikal Bridges is now a Knick.
You're right. It is pain. Pain. Prediction. Pain.
Hey, man. We're due. It's the last nail in the coffin.
Did you just take a gummy?
No.
You're like, hey, man, we're due.
What do you want, man? I'm
immune
and impervious to this Sixers nonsense. Like, this is the last nail on the process coffin. The first was Drew. That was the first step of the process, and maybe the dumbest move of the process was trading Mikal Bridges. So it's all coming full circle. He's going to win a championship next year.
In New
York. And destroy and put the last nail in the coffin. Oh, and give a yo to PHLY guru Vince Pellegrini, just bringing up sunshine in the chat room. Knicks have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years. He's got to remind everyone. What the hell's going on?
Great squad. They got the assets as well. How did this? Remember, we were like killing the Knicks for like 3 years.
Well, forget the Knicks, right? Like, JP, think about this for a second. No, you're right. But if you forget the Knicks for a second and go back to where the Sixers once were, a team with full coffers overflowing with assets. You know, during the process, we learned about team building. It became in the forefront of all sports. The process took on a life of its own that transcended basketball in the NBA. The process became a thing. Assets, accruing assets, right? Sam Hinkie brought all that lexicon to the table. And the Sixers' coffers were overflowing. And now what do you got? You got a team. You got nowhere on the contract.
We got 2 guys.
VG's going to be playing 2 guard.
2 guys on the team.
As long as he plays defense.
We need,
He ain't playing no D.
we need a hot tub time machine. Someone's got to go back and alter the course of this franchise. It's embarrassing at this point. And what is Morey doing? Is he in St. Bart's with Brad the Brain? What is he doing? The whole world's just making moves, and he's doing nothing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And like you're watching, now you have. Here's the other thing. This is the ignominy of it all. Is the Paul George situation, because they got all of a sudden it came out. Well, I don't know why it came out so late, but that Paul George would rather sign and trade because he could always make more money with a sign and trade.
Right.
So I don't know why that wasn't from the beginning, from the jump like that. So the sign and trade takes the Sixers like steam out of it, right? That's why they win. That's why the Shams tweet was, the Sixers are waning. The interest on PG is waned. Yeah, because now you got to trade for him.
Maybe he didn't like the options. He was like, well, might as well get paid if I'm going to have to play for some of these teams I don't really want to play for.
And now,
Are you telling me no one wants to sign and trade with Tobias? Are you telling me that? We're out of the sign and trade market because nobody wants Tobias?
Well, the issue now is that the Knicks could then piece OG, sign and trade OG, and trade him to the Clippers, and it's an OG for a PG swap. And as much as I go, Paul George, who is my man Eddie Wright, hits us up and says, Paul George makes me want to scrub my eyeballs with onions, right? And it's a great line. And he's dead right. But you put Paul George next to Brunson, next to Bridges, next to Hart. They'll trade Randall. They'll dump that salary. I mean, that's scary. Like, they could take on Boston. Like, this is the era of the
They're going to take
Knicks.
on Boston and leave it. Leave it to Villanova people to make me a Celtics fan. Are you kidding me? These creeps. And Jay Wright, this guy. I knew he was a closeted North Jersey, New Yorker guy. His tweet, "Go Knicks." Are you kidding me?
Can we finally remove Villanova from the
They're a
Big
New
Five
York
and add
team.
Drexel officially? Because we need to do this. That's my proposition today.
They're officially
Removing
a New
Nova
York team.
from Big Five.
Listen, I know everybody hates Nova. I can't do that. They're a mile from the city. I don't want to hear it.
I can see Rutgers Camden. I can see it.
Yes.
That's not a Philly school. Come on.
Dude, I hear you. I completely hear you. And again, I saw the tweet, and that was an obligatory. I got to say something so people leave me alone, because all Jay wants to be is left alone down his shore, not talk to anybody, not care about basketball.
It's his
Then
kids.
stop tweeting that junk out. He's trolling us.
It's his
He can
kids.
say go Nova. He doesn't have to say go Knicks.
I hear you. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, BG.
If Anthony Jr. got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, what are you saying? A little go Cowboys, cuz?
If Anthony Jr. is playing for the Cowboys,
Yeah, get drafted
I'm
by
a Cowboy fan.
It's his son.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? Like, listen.
And those are 4 of his
Listen,
kids up in New York.
Listen, I would be devastated, right? I wouldn't like it. It would taste like bad taste in my mouth. But if my son is playing wherever my son
This
is,
guy's got a star painted around his eye.
I'm
ready to go.
a fan of. You put my son on whatever he's doing, I'm a fan of. That's blood. That's DNA, blood. I don't get like that's the only thing that trumps anything. Now, I would still be an Eagle fan.
Yeah.
How happy is Mikal right now? You know he wants to stick it to the
Yeah.
Sixers after that draft night
Yeah.
stuff.
Listen.
He's going to be so motivated this year.
But we learned this. You know what's funny? How about Jack, his dad, is a Celtics fan?
yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Now, what's that going to be like? Now, Jack's got to go all Knicks now.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Trade the Celtics for the Knicks.
I'm so devastated right now. Like, it's so haunting.
Yeah.
The fact that Bridges, he would have been a missing piece.
Yes.
Like he
Back
does
then,
everything.
even
Like,
now.
he plays defense, right? His offensive game came up. He's a perfect complement to Maxine and Embiid.
Yes.
Oh God! And he's going to the Knicks, like who just kicked your teeth in the playoffs. Oh,
It's funny 'cause
God, this is torture. Oh my God!
It's funny because after
I swear to
yesterday's
God.
show, we were talking about players you would trade for. We didn't bring up Mikal Bridges. I thought, like, dude, I would say one player I would absolutely trade for. Market or Bridges is who I would absolutely trade for. And then, boom, that night he gets traded to the Knicks.
Well, and you see what they gave up for him. What? Like, what are you kidding me?
5 picks, 4 picks.
Yeah. It's
I just
mind-boggling.
don't understand. He is stealing money. He's making like north of like $10 million, $12 million.
Oh yeah.
Done nothing right now.
Yeah.
I saw a headline this morning. I'm on these nature headlines. 70 million years on Earth, 40 years of decline. The endangered eel.
Oh, the eel's
in
endangered.
trouble, dude.
The endangered eel. Eel. Where are you, eel? Where are you?
What is he
We
doing?
need the eel. You gotta do something, eel. Please.
Here's my other problem with what's been going on. Part of the reason why I went into the process, we couldn't attract any free agent. Nobody wanted to come play in Philadelphia either. And like I feel like still now, even with Joel, even with Max, no one says like outright like, yo, Philadelphia, I'd like to play there. Like no one ever says that. I feel like we're still in the same place that we were 10 years ago.
Nah.
Nobody wants to play here, cuz.
Nah, it's not about that. It really isn't about that. Truthfully, it's about building a team, dude. Like you got to build a team that guys want to go to because they go, oh, look at this, they're going to win a title.
When I hear Mikal Bridges wants to play for the Knicks, that it's a punch in the gut.
Well,
for
I
me.
mean, they're set up to win.
Well, yeah,
I get
why
that.
wouldn't you want to play?
Yeah,
for them?
and he's got his 3 teammates there, 4
Listen,
of them at this point.
If Morey would have orchestrated a trade to the Sixers, what do you think he's saying? Oh man, finally the wrong has been righted. Of course.
I mean, there's Durant rumors this morning about him in Houston. Does Durant, if Morey can swing that, does that make you feel better?
Yeah, but the Rockets throw that third pick overall.
Listen, you got another declining, aging player.
No.
I
doesn't
mean,
say me
listen,
either.
I love KD, but I mean, you saw what KD did in Phoenix.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Provolone John. Daryl Morey, we'd be better off with Daryl Hannah.
I mean, we're in break glass mode. I used to do the thing where you break glass like for a long, like now it's it. This is break glass.
Said little Pat Williams in a little break glass, get a little Pat Williams to come out and save you.
So there was a guy, you don't know this, right? But JP, there was a guy named Pat Williams.
Okay.
He was a great Philadelphia guy. And he was the Sixers GM in like the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And he was a wizard. He then became like the GM of the Magic. Like he got Shaq. Like this guy was unbelievable. He somehow orchestrated this. He had ripped Cleveland off a handful of times. The Sixers that's how they got Barkley. They were a great team. They were a team coming off a title in 83, right? The 84 draft, disappointment in 84, but they still have Moses, Doc, Tony, Cheeks. Like they're loaded, right? And then they had the number 1 pick. They have Cleveland's number 1 pick. And they get Barkley. Like that's because of our man, Pat Williams.
It's good management.
No, this guy, I'm really disappointed. I thought Eel coming over. I was a believer.
Oh, without a doubt. How could you not be a believer?
Stinks.
How could you not be a believer? The problem with the Eel is, listen, I'd give him a pass on the Simmons stuff because you go, hey, you got a depressed asset. Like, what are you going to do with Simmons, right? He's a mess. He goes all in. I thought, listen, if you're able to get Harden for him, I to this day, they say no way. There was Halliburton available. I don't know, right? Of course, you're not going to say, oh yeah, Halliburton was available. We chose Harden, right? Like, duh, it's a mistake, right? We all know that. But you had to go get a guy with fleas. Harden comes here. hey, hoping that maybe this is the stop, that it all comes together. Tremendous Hall of Fame talent, right? And he is what he is.
I think Morey's.
And then you got stuck in that spot.
I think Morey's a good GM. I don't think he's a great GM. And when he came in, that's a tough position that he was put in when he came in.
Well, again, obviously, the book isn't written yet, but listen, as it is now, it looks pretty dire.
Yeah. The biggest disappointment is it seems he has an inability to read what the league's doing.
Yeah.
It's a good point,
like
BJ.
they're all spinning around and he's just standing in the middle, clueless.
Well, the Tobias situation, right? Like, could you have moved Tobias? Is there a way that you could have gotten Siakam? Right? Like,
yes.
Like the Siakam piece, like that's the guy that they should have went. I know everybody talks about OG, but Siakam's the guy that they should have went out and got, because Siakam, think about it. Forget the fact that, he and Joe, are both from Cameroon, the whole thing. He's a fit on the floor.
Great stretch for that.
Like a stretch four with Embiid works.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just add one thing about Morey, and then I'll shut up? I knew he was going to be bad from day one when he was trying to get rid of Maxey for Harden. That was a trade proposal that he was trying to do to get his guy here for the Sixers. Was to get rid of our young talent for a flea-bitten player that we all knew who was on the decline, and he wanted to get rid of our asset, our biggest young asset.
Go back to producing.
If I go back to that moment,
He wears a Flyer shirt on NBA Draft Day. He comes in with a Flyer shirt on.
I know. I love Andrew, but like I'm not in the mood for like, I tell you about this, I tell you about that. He's been doomsaying for the last since we started the show. He's one of these, and I love him, but he's in old Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's got the old soul.
In another war, in another life. Andrew, that guy's a bum.
Oh, yeah.
He's throwing the word
with
bum
my grandpa
out.
calling Mike Schmidt a bum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's ripping Schmidt.
He struck out twice.
Yes. Yeah.
Shirtless at the vet.
Yes.
On a cold day.
Yeah.
No, but if we go back to that moment, I mean, like, Harden came off of that was a tough situation in Brooklyn. I mean, you were dealing with the two nuts over in Brooklyn, right? And then the whole idea was the pick and roll game with Embiid. Like, that's what I had envisioned. The whole thing was Ben Simmons was not the right fit, because with Embiid, with that talent, you want someone that you can run that pick and roll off of. And Harden was that guy. Unfortunately, it just didn't work. Looking back at that one, I can't really fault Daryl Morey. Obviously, could have used a better backup big, because we got
his
Drummond in
back
that
was
one.
against the wall with that Ben Simmons situation.
That
Nobody
too.
wants that guy. I just don't. He's just such an he comes off as a smart guy, or maybe he thinks he's really smart, but he just seems clueless as far as, are GMs not calling him? Do they have his number blocked? He has no idea what the chatter's going on around the league, apparently.
I feel like if he's calling teams, the teams are just like laughing. It's like, oh, Daryl Morey, what do you want, Daryl? Yeah, they're not taking him seriously.
That's something we should ask Legler. Like, what does his vibe about, like, how's the league view Daryl Morey?
Right.
Do they respect him? Does he know what he's doing? Do they want to deal with him?
That is a really
Seems
good point.
apparently not.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like anyone is really. And I'm just looking at our future assets. I mean, oh, God, it's not great either.
We got two guys on the team.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I'm just talking to people, and it's like, Bridges really wanted to go home with the Villanova home to Villanova and those players. And I get it.
Sure.
But, I'll ask you guys, if your one swing is Bridges, do you do it? And I go, listen, Paul George I'm sorry, I think Paul George has fleas.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah, I think he's a Harden-esque type.
Yes.
Tremendous talent. Like,
Right.
PG's a great talent.
Stat pattern.
But he's another one that I can't trust.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is 100 years old, and I'm going to go all in on Jimmy Butler. Give him a big contract.
I think I may at this point. He's probably the most fun of the bunch. I don't know. Of everything we got to choose from, I might be in on Butler at this point.
At least it works with Embiid as well, because we've seen it before. I mean, it was
For how long? I mean,
I know.
And he gets hurt a lot. I mean, listen, if it's 3-4 years ago, I get it. But at this stage, I'd rather go in on marketing.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't
ideally.
think that doesn't seem to be out there.
It's not out there. I keep talking about it. I'm hoping to invent
speak it into fruition.
I'm trying to invent it. Right.
Yeah. It's the law of attraction. You just say the affirmation enough, it'll happen.
Marketing.
Yes.
Hopefully Danny Ainge hears.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would.
Danny.
I would go all in. I would go all in.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
my
Marking the
God.
Bridges is what I would have loved for this team.
Let me, because so I start off my day with my affirmation
come on.
site. So
Give
let me
us
give you a
something
positive
good.
affirmation for today. Today's affirmation: I rejoice in the love I encounter every day. How does that make you feel?
Except for the
Bleep out of
Sixers.
here. It's
Sixers, why don't you love us, Sixers?
You geeky. I mean, come on. I mean, today the Knicks got good.
Dude.
The Knicks are good.
Legit contender.
The Knicks were really good.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
they got better.
I know.
The Sixers are,
You know what sucks?
at best, a third team in the
You
division.
know what sucks? Like, I feel like basketball has been robbed. Like, has been snatched from us, right? Because it's going to be, next year's going to be all New York, Boston.
Yeah.
It's New York, Boston.
Not even Indiana?
No. New York, Boston. It's
Nobody cares about that market.
And the NBA, and
Oh, I
knowing
see what you're
the
saying.
marketing machine that the NBA
Yeah,
is,
they're going to market that.
they will go crazy. Especially with the Lakers down, and right? It'll be New York, Boston.
It's going to be the 60s all over again.
Oh, yes. Yes. Celtics and Knicks.
And you know what else is going to happen? Leon Rose is going to call Daryl Morey. Hey, I got this Julius Randle. I think he's a great fit for you.
Hey, by the way, Leon Rose, Worldwide West, these are all Philadelphia guys. Villanova. That whole organization's Philadelphia people. It is.
I know.
It's crazy.
It hurts.
Maybe we should get more Philly people into Sixers. Crazy
I feel
concept.
for those people who sell season tickets at the Sixers office because that's a
gonna be
tough job
hard.
right now.
I know, dude.
Imagine getting a call
I
from
got
them.
zero interest. They're going to be like, there's times when you can't give away Phillies tickets. It might be like that this year with the Sixers unless Morey pulls something together.
Well, again, it's like, what's next? To say, I'm just praying that there's some move out there that we haven't figured out.
like, think about the greatest move that you think he can do. They're still going to be third best team in their own division.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it's it's a big move, and then you're able to get a couple other pieces with it. I mean, listen, I agree. I mean, right now, you're aiming for 3.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
But here's the one thing about the NBA, and we see year in, year out. I remember when the super team, the first, what was it? The Nets was the first super team. When those 3 got together, you're like,
Celtics,
oh my God.
no?
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking recent. Like
Recently?
the Suns. Like I remember when KD, Harden, and Kyrie get together in Brooklyn, you go,
Right.
oh my God, that
Monster.
team's going to be a stud team. Right? And it flopped. Phoenix flopped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's injuries.
You need
I
a
don't
bench
say.
in this
Listen,
league.
I love what the Knicks did. I had to say, I do. I think they're the way they're built.
And they're young, cuz.
I know.
They're going to be good for a minute if
All
they
right.
keep this together.
All right.
Why?
I know.
Sports gods, why?
All right, coming up, we got Kyle Newbeck from our All PHLY Sixers show. Guys, real quick, how good is Scooble? He's nasty.
I mean, he should be the starting pitcher for the All-Star game for the American League. And, it's going to happen. What's going on? Can we talk about Trey?
What about him?
I mean, that ball in the 4th inning, 5th inning starts the run. I mean,
It did.
Ranger didn't have his stuff, but that would have been an out at least.
It would have been an out.
Yeah, and that
It would have been
changes
an out.
the whole mentality.
Listen, we got to talk about Trey in the sense that he's been a disappointment, like a big disappointment. Now he's got time to write it, and we've seen flashes of greatness, but he's got to be great. We have to start seeing the greatness because Trey Turner. I mean,
Good point.
I mean, let's face it. He's got tremendous upside.
Yeah.
I thought his glove was better. It's
No,
not.
it's not.
No.
Stott's better at short,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully.
Scooble's throwing like 101 in the 7th inning still.
I know. All right, buddy. We appreciate it. It's 9:30, and we're brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Download it, would you? A lot of fun.
Sammy from England pops in the chat. How are we?
Oh,
How
Sammy!
are we? How are we?
Oh, mate! We are not good, mate!
Use a Carlsberg. Give me a Newcastle. Something.
Yes. I'm about to start
I
drinking.
wish
Here's the beauty of that.
Newcastle could take the edge off for me at this point. It's going to have to be something way stronger.
They're big gin people, right, in England?
Yes.
This is going to end. We need some Jack Daniels or something.
We got something there. I know we got something in the PHLY coffers.
We all silly like the mayor. We all silly like the mayor.